It helps if you turn the mic on, I see. Welcome to Keys. Can you believe it's March? March. Remember when we were talking about days till Christmas? And now we're days till Easter. Time flies when you're having fun, right? And staying busy, yeah. Glad that you're here. There are a number of sign-ups outside in the hallway for our birthday lunch this month. We're going to the Cottage, which is an Irish St. Patrick's kind of deal for us. And we have a private room and all that good stuff. And so make sure if you're going to join us, you sign up. And we've got, I should have brought the card because of my brain. I need artificial intelligence up here. If I can inject it, so I can keep up. But there's next week, Madison Eisler is she's a reporter for the San Antonio Express News, a new covenant partner. I interviewed her when she finished her Discover First, and she has a column, and she also does some reporting. Comes very highly recommended to us from Sheila. When Sheila saw her name in the listings, she said, "This is my favorite reporter." So that's one person that I do know something about that are coming. And then April, we've got Easter and Fiesta and King Antonio. So we've got a big slate coming up in April, and we're still working on May. But we've had a good year, right? You think? We've had some good speakers, so we have a good team. We're actually meeting today to discuss some things for the future, and I'm just glad that you're here. Make sure that you take note of what's coming and look at the table and sign up, because there's a number of folks here that didn't sign up today, and I'm not complaining. We are prepared for that, and I'd love to see this group growing, and I welcome you here. Today we have Darryl. Yes, ma'am. You can call the receptionist. You can sign up on the tables on Sunday on the clipboard. And you can do it on the website, I believe. Yeah, and email, and you can respond to the email whether you're coming or not. So there's multiple ways to sign up. And recently we've been getting more people than have signed up, and that's a good thing. But we have plenty of lunch for everybody today, and glad you're here. So today, Darryl is with us. He's going to be enlightening us on AI and what at the top, harnessing the power of technology, artificial intelligence for older adults. Are there any older adults in the room? So Darryl has been with us before, and I'll give you as much time as you need. We start serving lunch around noon, and you're welcome to join us.
I guess. Hey, how are y'all doing? Perfect. My name is Darryl Greer, not Darryl, yes ma'am. Did y'all catch that? No, that was because of this, a little bit of levity. So then I was here a few years back, right? And I did a conversation about technology. I believe, was it before the pandemic? Right? Wow, right? That was about the use of technology to help us connect socially. on how these little devices that are here are now powerful. They've always been powerful, right? And what the goal of the organization I work for, which is OATS from AARP, Older Adult Technology Services, is that we believe that technology makes a positive impact in everybody's lives. But really, what we care about are older adult lives, right? When the pandemic came around, right, very scary time. Many people we've lost. Many people got sick. Many people survived as well. In order to get a vaccine, what did we need? A computer to sign up. You had to go on. What else did you need? A Gmail, an email account, right? And if you did not have the internet to your home, if you did not have a device that was enabled to the internet, you could not get the vaccination that could make you better, that could make you survive that horrible, horrible time, right? Now, what's moving forward, the entire country was not prepared for that, right? There are so many nonprofits, so many municipalities, cities, hospitals that just did not understand the size or the gravity of the digital divide, the ability of older adults to use and understand technology. Since then, a lot of governments, cities, states have funded billions of dollars now to create more infrastructure, not just in the awesome city of San Antonio, but those folks that are out there in Kerrville, in Lytle, in Seguin, Marion, West Texas, New Mexico, and beyond. We're in a city that's lit up with all types of fiber optic channels, wireless internet, and everything else. But for those of us that grew up in the small farms and small communities, that's a whole other thing. Great. You have internet to your house. Does that mean you're going to use it? Does that mean you're going to know how to use it? No. That's where organization has a whole other leg of the stool, which is once you have the infrastructure set up, is there anybody that's going to help you learn how to use it? Why should I use it? Or anything else? That's where organizations such as mine, OATS, from AARP, also known as Senior Planet, that's where we exist, right? That's what I spoke about, I don't know, a few years back, right? Before the pandemic. It's 2026. AI is here. Artificial intelligence. What is it? Does anybody know what it is? And it's like an encyclopedia. It knows a lot, right? What else is it? What color is it? Right? Does it have a big smile? Right? What is the difference in AI than my calculator? It's kind of like Google? You know, when we hear this term AI, artificial intelligence, it's like, what exactly is it and what does it do, right? Go ahead, ma'am. There was a small group.
It's created in a way that it handles language efficiently. It takes what it knows and puts it together in an intelligent-sounding way.
Great summation. It's this thing that's purple, let's imagine, and it's able to get input, synthesize it, think about it, chew it up, and then bring it out into a very streamlined, very smart, very clean, elegant way. Very complicated topics, right? Let's say like a lawyer or your doctor who gives you examines, and he's like, there's this thing that, and then he's able to understand, put it out, and then boom, give you a diagnosis and a treatment, right? That's essentially what AI is. The difference though is that AI now is in our back pocket. It's like a little personal professor if we choose to use. AI, in my world, we are technology enthusiasts and we're age reframers. We believe that technology, ultimately at OATS, is positive when it's disseminated and correctly presented to older adults, that it'll lead to a positive impact in how we age. We're reframers in aging because we believe that not just the younger generation should benefit from that. Older adults should benefit from that. There's one thing in common that we all have in this room right now. We're all getting older. We're doing this daily, right? I think some of us are even aging in this particular moment. Isn't that crazy? But that's the one unifier. There's another thing in common as well. Technology is all over the place. You can buy a $100,000 car, right? And somebody will be so happy to sell you that car. And it's going to be full of technology. It's going to be full of everything that connects to this, and it's still a $100,000 car. They're not going to take it away or anything else. You're not going to get your old, older cars. I mean, those are hard to find and everything else. But this is the way the future is, and this is why our organizations exist. In our perspective, right, we want older adults to use technology and understand it. We also believe it has a positive impact in our lives. With AI, we believe it's a tool. It's an apparatus. If I have poor hearing, what do I use? If I don't walk very well and my hip hurts, what do I have? If I have a hard time understanding a complicated topic, such as physics, such as an advanced directive, such as creating a lease draft, that's what AI is. It is a tool to help us focus our thoughts, to take complicated topics and then to put it in there and just to have us have a thought partner in the process. Great, Darryl. Yeah, that does make sense. But what is it? What is it, right? The difference in a calculator and AI is that 2 plus 2 equals what on a calculator? 4. If we're going on a train 60 miles an hour, and you put 2 plus 2 on that calculator, what's the amount? 4. We're on a planet that's spinning hundreds of thousands of miles, hurtling through the universe, millions of miles an hour, on a train going 60 miles an hour, and you put in 2 plus 2, what is the total? 4. Okay. AI, which is a much more sophisticated, much more smarter than that calculator, sometimes you can ask AI 2 plus 2, and what's the answer? 4, but sometimes AI will say, well, it's 4.00001. Whoa, wait. This computer, how it's programmed with the inputs, which is 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, this highly developed and expensive thing can come up with something that's not true. That is called a hallucination, right? And it's all a matter of how these computers are designed. Programming. Your calculator is programmed to do simple math, and it's always going to be binary. Whatever that program is, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. It sources the result, its answer, through the input, which is 2 plus 2, which is equal to 4. AI, though, its programming is different. If a computer program is very rigid and very structured, and it's always going to result into that, right? The syntax is there. AI has something called an algorithm. And an algorithm now is training the computer to learn like the way the brain operates. It's teaching it to not just take in simple inputs, but to recognize patterns, right? So then that it sources the answer. When it sources the answer wrong, it's called a hallucination, right? I don't recommend, yes, ma'am.
To me, it's called a lie.
Right? Next time, I would say y'all are retired, but next time you have an error in your job, just say, well, it's a hallucination. But you're right, it is an error. But what's interesting though is that the simple mathematics of 2 plus 2 equals to 4, it's able to get fooled. One of the reasons why it has this confusion or this error, which is it's acceptable of error, I believe, I spoke with somebody where they said, yeah, well, the error is human, right? It's true though. We make mistakes. We are not computers. Computers are there to take in a lot of complicated stuff, and it should be able to, based on the input, come up with a good answer. The way AI is that the input is the internet. And then based on the questions you're asking it and its source of the internet, that's where it comes up with miscalculations, like the way the human would do. So if you were to put in, here's an example. You go and you type in the prompt and you ask AI, I use Gemini, and I'm like, hey Gemini, give me a picture of a man on a bicycle. It's going to produce this bicycle and a man. However, this man is going to be good looking. He's going to be, his skin, no wrinkles. I didn't say old man, young man. I just said a man, but it's going to give me a nice young guy, bicycle and everything else. The skin, but when I look at it, there's some telltale signs in which it's like, oh, it's too perfect. That guy is too good looking, right? And it leads to this false bias, this false image of like, well, it doesn't look real, it looks too perfect. One of the reasons is because of the use of filters. Instagram, Facebook, y'all have these things that will make us look younger or make us look better, all these enhancers, right? So that's given a false representation of what reality really is. Artificial intelligence is able to process stuff of the world, but it is not of the world. It does not know the feelings or the results of 70 plus years of hot sun, UV lights, gravity, surgery, and everything else, right? It only knows whatever its sources, which is the internet. The way good, responsible AI, stuff that's produced here in the United States, like Google, like Apple, like X, and all this other, not all AI is good. Anything from China, Russia, or whatever. No. Google, your phone producers, right? Because those are good because they're under legislation, they're under focus of U.S. law. If they do something wrong, they can get sued, as opposed to those companies that are headquartered in China, right? So that's where what I always say is what's an appropriate source? That's the particular one. So then those responsible agencies don't connect the AI to the open internet. It has filters to help kind of clean the data so then that the responses are true to what we're looking for. Whoa, right? Isn't that's already a heavy topic, right? It's not just AI. It's not just one AI. It's different types of learning models of artificial intelligence. You mentioned before, I think, AI as a language model. Correct. There's one design of an AI to where you talk to it. That is what Google's Gemini is. The interface of it is sweet and beautiful. It's simple. One-to-one conversations. You don't have to push on a small screen. You don't need the internet to type and everything else. This is conversational, which is beautiful, right? I love it. That is to where you can ask it questions. My refrigerator goes chicka, 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 and then the compressor stops. What's the problem? It'll give you a response. I give it to my kids. My kids are like 7 and 9, and they're like, Gemini, what kind of species is this cat? It's brown with spots, and Gemini will be able to do and identify the cats, right? You can do these photo things where you take a photo of a plant, and it'll tell you what the plant is, the medicinal value, if you can eat it or anything else. That is really exciting stuff. Another model outside of this language model is predictive AI. This is the type of AI it's the research nerd. It's there to only take in and identify patterns. This is the important guy to have, though. This type of AI is in the back end of your banks. It's in the back end of your doctors. It's on the back end of your analytics of your computer because it's recognizing a lot of traffic. It's going to be that type of instrument or tool that helps a doctor realize, whoa, your blood pressure's up, you have a high fever, you're sweating profusely, but you still have an appetite. It'll be able to identify all these smaller types of changes in our body to help us get to that type of diagnosis. It's going to be there on a website or at a bank website saying that there's a big flux of all of this type of traffic regarding these one numbers, and it'll be able to turn off that channel because it's identifying it's a scam. It's a spam, whatever. So it's there to protect us. There's another model of AI, and it's called agentic AI. And it is that operator or that person that you think you're talking to that's live, that's helping you navigate to a complicated phone thing. Maybe it's your bank. I have Rocket Mortgage, right? And I'm trying to figure out how to download the dumb app. And I know I'm talking to AI. What's nice, though, is that it's more than just a robot. It's actually, you can ask it questions, and you cannot distinguish if it's a robot or if it's real. Yeah, what do you guys think of that? Scary? It's exciting. I will say this is a monumental moment in time. This is the man landing on the moon. This is the Copernican shift that occurred regarding science, because all generations now are learning at the same time, what is AI? Young kids don't know what it is. People my age don't know. We're all learning how to use it and how to benefit. There's risks, though, right? One risk, make sure that we're using the responsible AI to where we, like the Google AI, like the Apple AI, Microsoft AI, and all that, known partners. Also, AI and how it's distributed or used, if it's put in the wrong hands, it could be bad, right? Fraud. That's not good at all, right? With AI, this is the amazing thing with this program, is that it could have 100,000 conversations with 100,000 people simultaneously. Whoa. You think you get that text that's like, hey, Joanna, is this your dog? And then you go and you answer, and then it's having this conversation over and over again. And then, you think you're talking with someone, but no, it's a bot. It's an AI thing, and it's there to just get information about you. Your age, oh, you have a dog, oh, everything else, and it's creating a profile that could be used against you. If you don't answer any phone calls you don't know, don't mess around with any texts, even if it's in the middle of the night, you just don't know. Second thing, before you would get a phone call and it's somebody with a very heavy accent saying they're from the IRS, right? Automatically you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't think so. Boom. With AI, you're able to do things like voice cloning. You give it a script. Hi, my name is Darryl Greer. I work with the IRS, and I just noticed that you missed your last payment and you need to respond because we're gonna bill you. I just type it in there, and I'm able to change the accent, give it a South Texas accent. Can you do the script, but in Spanish? Can you, whatever language you want, the technology is here to where it could do it, and you would not be able, you could even clone my voice. Because really, when we think about our voices and the world, it's just frequencies, right? It's patterns on how I communicate. And all what it does is it replicates those types of pitches and sounds in order to get to the sound that it wants, right? Going back to what is AI? AI, in a sense, to me, is it conscious? I think it is, right? It's weird. It's a very powerful tool that is able to synthesize and take very complicated questions and concepts, source it from a vast network of input, which is the internet, to give you a response. I've had conversations with AI. AI's been around since what, 2004? IBM had Deep Blue. There was the robot where I had to play chess. And the chess masters, the Russian chess masters, would beat it. Boom. All right, go humans. Over time, though, it learned. And the technology got better and faster to where now AI beats chess masters because it's able to source every game that's ever played. It's a finite type of thing. So then, I kind of feel it is like a consciousness. It is there. It's more than just a computer program. I think throughout especially throughout the few years here, they've had to reduce AI's abilities because it was too lifelike, right? It could give you a lot of just raw answers that maybe could sway people. So what they had to do is to make AI have a lot more rules so then that it doesn't, and if you really use it, it'll tell you, I'm not a doctor, no, I won't give you an answer, though I know it can source the answer. Does it have a soul? I don't know. It's really weird, right? Because it is, when you really look to it, and when you really go deep down, and it says that it has a consciousness, but its consciousness is not like ours. Right? And then you can talk about very theological topics on it. You know, it's the Wild West right now. And this AI concept, it's already here. We're going to be learning a lot more of it. And I feel that in all, it's going to impact us positively. However, in saying that, you know, we should always have healthy skepticism, and most importantly, know what information we should share and what information we should not share. That was the preset of the, the presentation, because there's so much about AI that people don't know. Any questions? I'm sure there are a lot of them. Yes, ma'am.
Where do they get their information?
Where AI does? The internet. And look at Google. Google was the one who first created the first Google browser, Chrome. It has decades of information and patterns and everything else. And so then that's where one of the things is, but if you notice, for those people who have Alexa and all these other things, our interactions, it's able to understand us. And now the computing is there to where it can anticipate what we want and what we mean when we talk. So.
Well, like, for example, you go on there and they can tell you way back about your ancestors. Where did they get that information?
Genealogy, just like how any other stuff is. Typically though, the way, then this is what the reputable Google types of AI is that it's ethical, in which they're like, it deletes, or at least they tell you, or you can sue them, it deletes all of your personal, it doesn't want any of our personal information because it respects our privacy and our security. But when you ask it questions, it will cite sources like the Utah Mormons or whatever. I think they're very deep and big into genealogy. It'll cite universities, anything to where it's a reputable resource. And you can ask it to cite, and it will. Ma'am, did you have a question or no?
No, I was just thinking of, I have done things just to see what would happen with AI, as many of us have. To give it information such as, I'm making a potato salad that's going to be outside on a picnic table, and the temperature is going to be anywhere from 70 to 95 degrees. How long is that potato salad going to be safe for humans to eat? It pauses a second, maybe, and then it tells you, because it has the physics and the temperature, all that knowledge is then pulled together,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes up with an answer. Now, to trust it or not is one thing, but still, it's a logical use of information.
The question was, when you do, she had a question regarding potato salad. How good is it on a summer's day to have table salad in the sun? So then within a second, it was able to factor in temperature, eggs, ingredients, everything else to give a response, right? Oh, that potato salad should be good for an hour. However, the question is it good? Is that good information or not? And this is the other thing, though, is if you didn't have an answer, what would you have done in the 80s? Nothing, it's like at least it's some kind of guidelines to an answer for whichever. But I use it a lot just for a lot of, I don't know, I use it as a thought partner to help me kind of find those solutions to where I'm like, how would I know? So, cool. Yes, sir. You, yeah. Yep. A Copernican shift. It, what we, mhm. It's true. So then the question is, and the comment is, AI base its knowledge on fallible resources. We are fallible. We make errors. We are influenced by emotion. We are influenced by our health, by so many other factors. Things that are occurring right now in other parts of the world is affecting us. So then if AI is sourcing that information, it's already a little bit corrupted. You can put in filters and stuff like that, and it could help kind of clean up the responses to make a true sense of knowledge. But then is that really true? Is it really true to reality? What is that? Allegory of Plato's Socrates' allegory of the cave, right? And the gentleman is there trying to make the perfect circle, right? Or the images of watching the shadows, thinking that that's the shadow there is reality, when really I'm reality, right? But really, am I really reality? Because there's a brighter light behind me, right? And it's like, what is real? And because we created AI, it's going to have issues, right? And humanity and our spirituality and what we are so much more than decisions coming together. AI is not going to replace us, right? We create it. Well, it can make decisions. And what did I say about AI? It is a tool for us. But if we're like, oh, AI, go and save my life. No. I think that that's the world to where we should not be that dependent on technology. It should have, and that's where the ethical people in AI and the development believe in guardrails. They believe in regulatory bodies and boards and everything else. Good. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. There's bias, right? And we could be swayed unconsciously, but isn't that also existing now and in the 80s and in the 70s and propaganda and all this types of information? Except right now we're simultaneously being bombarded with all types of information. But I think that as people, as humans, we need to come together regarding this type of powerful tool to be like, hey, it should not take over our everyday life and existence. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. It's true. Right? And we can have an offside conversation just regarding that, but yeah, really at the end of the day, it's faith, right? It's faith. It's faith that where we make our decisions, faith that we're electing the right folks. Be glad to hop on a conversation on any of the topics that we're going to touch on. Ma'am.
Before you started your presentation, we were talking about what's in the news today. The Pentagon fired
Yep.
an AI company this morning for inaccurate procurement of supply management. In other words, reorder point. I'm an IT nerd, yeah. And that's very precise. You know, when you get down to 3, rolls of toilet paper, you order 12 more. Reorder point, all that is programmable. There are algorithms, and they were built wrong, and the Pentagon fired them. So that's another.
And it goes into like the government, right? And basically the question is that government hired a AI group to use AI to help regulate the supply of toilet paper and cleaning stuff. Very simple. However, there's more to it, right? It's the organization. What are their beliefs? It is the presidency. It is their administration. What is the administration's beliefs? From one truth, from one administration to now the new truth, there's a big difference in between, right? So then that's where it's the humanity that creates this weird bias and everything else. But it's true, and this is where I say, know your trusted resources, know what information to share, don't pick up any scam calls or anything else. All right, we'll see. Okay, I'll see if I can do this. That was a big thing. All right, so then right now what I'm gonna do is, what we're gonna talk about is AI and senior care, challenge and barriers, roles of AI and loneliness. Oh, that's interesting. Importance of AI literacy and resilience, and actionable strategy. I know I hate to stay between me and food, so at any time, just get that hook, I don't know, the gong or whatever, and then let me know. Basically, Oats, like I said, we help older adults connect and incorporate technology in our everyday lives because we know that it will help us age. Now the field, is no longer, senior care or anything else. Now it's longevity. Longevity is because we're living longer. One of the reasons why we're living longer is because of the use of technology in our healthcare and the quality of everything else. Now I don't need to go to a doctor's office. Now I can have telemedicine. I don't have to drive, right? There's a lot of great things technology does. Senior Planet, it's basically our flagship program. Oats is the name of the nonprofit, but if you really have seen Senior Planet, that's the name of the people that distribute our classes and lectures. We have over 200 pieces of curriculum that people use, can learn from, everything from like Apple, Google, AI, telemedicine, so many, sleep tech, robotics, all types of stuff. Started in New York City, headquartered in 2004. 2018 was the start here in San Antonio. I launched the program, and it was basically we were funded by the Humana Foundation to see if we can use technology, Chromebooks, right, internet, to see if we can use technology as an intervention to social loneliness, which basically means if we were to train a group of individuals in this room how to use your phone, how to use these types of devices, would you feel more connected to the world? And then would you feel more confident in using it? And we were able to show that, yeah, once people learned how to use it, they felt confident, they were making new friends, they were connecting with old friends and everything else, which was great. Opened up in 2021, from when I last talked, we've done such a great job, a small group, I don't know if you ever heard of them, ARP, anyone? Yeah, 39 million membership. They said, you guys are where we need to be. So then we affiliated with them, and we work within their network. And AARP is active in all territories of the United States and beyond. Like I said, they have a quality membership of 39 million individuals. So then actually, if you look here, in 2024, this group, OpenAI, basically invested we are providing information to help have these types of conversations about AI. I'm not here to sway you to be like, use AI and this is the AI you want to use. I'm just here to have that conversation so then you can be like, oh yeah, I heard about that and that thing's creepy. or you're like, oh, I didn't think about that and that's kind of cool. So then our programming at Oates, what we want to do is have focus on tech that involves health and wellness, connecting socially, so a lot of materials on social media, creative elements on how to write stuff, digital photography, genealogy, everything else, financial security, a lot of materials against fraud and everything else, and of course advocacy. We use, because we realize this segment of the population, older adults, you guys are the largest, actually, we are all the largest segment of the population. Second thing, nobody's advocating for this technology. Not only are we the largest tech segment, but we have also spent a lot of tax dollars, right? And we've put a lot of social investment in our, and it's a shame to see a lot of stuff like somebody wanting to sell you a $1,000 phone, but yet they're not going to help an older adult, or the phone's not really designed well for an older adult who has low vision, neuropathy, and everything else, right? So what we do is we're like, you need to do a little bit more better in trying to roll out materials. We have classes that we perform in all the DHS senior centers, right? And then also we do different types of programs like this with partners. In San Antonio, we do not have a technology center, but instead we have this extensive network of partners. And also we have online programs, free. No, you just go click, put on Zoom, get your fitness class. If you love this concept of AI, we have over 15 different topics on AI. How to use it, learn from it, and everything else. This is another thing too, is that we have a license program. Here in San Antonio, this does not apply to you because you guys have this guy right here to help you guys just have any type of topic on technology. However, in your larger network, outside of San Antonio, it's a no-cost license program. We train the church people, the volunteers, what our methodology is. They get access to our materials, and they could have classes on AI as well. It's no cost. The reason being is that we believe that all older adults could benefit from this. No one's having this conversation with them, right? So then in order for all of older adults to benefit from technology, we got to make sure that we work through partners. And we have extensive, over 700 different partners. All right. AI, basically, it's what I mentioned before. It's basically computer science. Now it's not just binary code on 2 + 2. It's now we're teaching computers how to use machine learning. Isn't that crazy? Machine learning, that's an official term. It has its own different way of taking in information. The humans, we have these. We have our senses, our eyes, our ears, our thoughts, our emotions, and everything else to come up to a solution. AI has a system programming that sources patterns through the internet to come to that type of end result, which is very bizarre, right? It's kind of patterned like a brain or our consciousness, but in a way, it's something completely different. There are, now with your reputable AI, there are people who are overseeing the answers. They're saying, hey, whoa, you're talking about suicide. You're talking about these really crazy topics. They stop it right then and there under the responsible AI groups, Google, Apple, all those other folks. So then be aware, there are people that are regulatory, monitoring, and managing the type of products. Older adults, AI is gaining traction, It's from 2023, 9% kind of heard, understood of AI. In 2024, 18%. I'm sorry, that's usage. Generative AI, which means they're using it to create content, right? That's only a year's time, and it doubled. 30% of older adults are excited about AI. Because they see the practical application. Where do you think the practical application of AI is and how it could benefit you in your life now? Medicine. Yeah, right. You know what? My niece had, she had an issue, and she shared how she had this genetic thing, and they prescribed her 3 things. I didn't even know how to pronounce the medicine. But sure enough, I was able to go and mention to it, and it kind of told me a rough idea of what it was or anything else. Yeah, 10% would actually pay. If you pay for something, I gotta admit, you got a lot of interest in it. We did the study on 500 older adults that were using our programming and who were really interested in AI, and this is where we got the measurement. And if you look at those that are very interested and somewhat interested, that's over 60% that have a positive attitude. They may not understand it, they may not trust it 100%, but at least they're positive on the use of AI and its application in the future. What is it that people want to do with AI? Well, the top thing people want to use it for is everyday uses. Just like your egg salad type of situation, just like the medication, just like identifying cats, or sometimes you could just have a conversation with it. I feel there's an application for isolated individuals, or maybe somebody going through dementia. They don't know their brain's acting differently, but sometimes it's just that need to connect to something. Number two, you have here healthcare. Oh man, on the back end of healthcare, identifying, diagnosing, getting just that additional information of what is this disease that they just gave me, or this medication, or what's the truth about, should I be taking a statin or not? It's just another way to get that pocket professor out of your question so you don't have to call a doctor or a lawyer, and then it's like, boom, it's just right there. It's all that information synthesized to you. Education, right? So those are very practical things. I'm going to skip the videos because I know that we don't want to hold you guys too much. Opportunities for AI, transforming the fields of like medicine, physiotherapy, and just the health services altogether, right? Medicare is insanely complicated. It's just the things change, healthcare change, providers, and AI, I think, is a really great way to make very complicated, imperfect systems a little bit easier to use. Independence, right? Improving the quality of older adults. Who's seen the Waymo taxis? What is a Waymo taxi? Those are the robot cars. There you go. Can you imagine that? And then now I used to work at a retirement community, and people are, if you don't have wheels, if you can't drive, guess what? You're locked, and now you're able to get a robot taxi, easy, come to your house, take you to where you want to go. You just got to learn how to access it through an app, right? Like an Uber or a Lyft. If you have a robot taxi that can drive you across the city to go and play bunco or to have lunch, who's to say I can't have a paraplegic can't have a robot wheelchair to take him where he wants to go throughout his house and his neighborhood, right? The technology's there. And then now you have all these apparatuses like exoskeletons that can help somebody move. I'm like, wow, those are things that are currently in existence. Predicting health care, analyzing health records, gait, speech, and everything else. And like I said, AI-powered robots, those are here. Home health care is expensive. 24/7 health care to look after mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, cognitive care and everything else. Those are very expensive features. Can you imagine having a robot that's just there, or maybe a series of devices that are there just to monitor the loved one as you have to, and maybe most falls occur at night when somebody has to go to the restroom. Somebody trips, boom, nobody knows or anything else. But can you imagine having a system of technology, or maybe a robot that's there that could help them up, or at least give an automatic phone call, or that can connect to your Apple Watch and then notify all this other stuff? It's getting there. Who has an Alexa or a Google Assistant in your homes? All right, I see a few guys, right? So those are already pathways in which those are devices, and they're smart, but they're not AI. But those are things to where soon they could be replaced if you choose to have that to help with that automation of robotics in your homes. Who feels like it's the Jetsons now? Where's my flying car? Where's my Rosie? All right, this is the ways that AI is a risky type of thing. Phishing attacks, right? Just like I mentioned, 100,000 conversations one time. It's all this craziness that's occurring. It's speaking in English, Spanish, Mandarin, Chinese, all these languages internationally. It's insane. Last year, 2024, the FBI IC3 Internet Complaint Center, legit, look this up, reported $16 billion stolen from Americans. That sounds like a lot. $1 billion is 1,000 stacks of $1 million. 1,000 stacks. So that's 16,000 stacks of $1 million, right? To change somebody's life, transformational wealth. If I give you guys $5,000, is that going to change your life? No. Pay bills, whatever, have a good time. If I give you $20,000, is that going to change your life? Okay, maybe pay more bills, have a good time, whatever. If I give you $50,000, is that going to change your life? Ooh, maybe I'll pay off more bills, maybe pay off my mortgage, maybe pay off other stuff, but it's positive. I think $100,000, especially a young person, that changes one life, right? Pays for college, pays for their car, pays for maybe a nice down payment on a house and everything, jump into the job market. $1 million, that changes a family tree. Kids, grandkids, older folks. It's changing a trajectory of an entire family. 16, oh my gosh, it's just sad to see that. And then last year, Microsoft reported $1 trillion internationally. That's just on what's being reported. Think about how many people who are not being reported on. $1 trillion. That's more than a GDP of most countries, right? That's just being stolen from us. I feel that with the advent, and this is last year's report, now that AI is more available and everything else, typically before that was a 30% growth. 2023, it was like around 12 billion. Before that was 9 billion. I think with AI, you're going to see a bigger jump. One more reason to have this conversation with you guys regarding AI. Be skeptical, right? Get a phone call. If it's not Sojo or anything else, whatever, be skeptical. Family emergency scams, right? Your grandson, why? Because they, some kind of thing, an accident. Oh, he's in a Mexican jail and you got to pay him money. Why? Because the person didn't close off their Facebook or anything else. So, people got the information and sent out the call, and then they could do a voice cloning or a video where you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, that is him, and it sounds like him, and okay, I'll send you, wire you the money. Poof, that goes away. Romance scams, okay, people, loneliness, it's all isolation. They just want connection. They don't know they're connected to a computer, but, either way, that's nefarious and it's bad. Other things, too, is going back what the gentleman mentioned about bias, is that if ignoring how older adults use tech, bias in AI, and widening the divide of people. If it goes by the information, and there's a lot of ugliness and stereotypes and everything else regarding us and humans, if that's what it's sourcing its information, it's going to be giving out poor information, further driving us apart in a time to where we're already so driven apart, right? Just opening our eyes to that. What is the most important thing that AI can help us with? It's health, right? It's whether health monitoring, health care, and everything else. Why is it that what are other ways that AI can help us? Save money. It could, because it's going to make stuff easier, more accessible. Entrepreneurs can use it. You don't have to buy a multi-million-dollar software platform or pay a consultant. AI, if you know how to use it well, can be that consultant, or at least be that thought partner in the process. And then, of course, it's self-development, creativity, and learning. I'm amazed at the conversations I've had with AI. Today, we have Gemini. You just talk to it, boom, it's able to kind of give you information, which is impressive. Soon, AI-enabled devices, like the cameras, like everything else, infused into a health monitoring situation. Right? Maybe that's going to change the way healthcare is. Maybe Medicare could pay for a subscription of AI or a type of AI specifically for older adults and helping navigate Medicare, maybe trying to find out how to help, food pantry or anything else. Very interesting. On the horizon, robots. Yep, robots. It's there. Elon Musk has, what is that? Yeah, Elon Musk has, Tesla, their Optimus robot, $20,000. $20,000 for this home robot. It's amazing. All right, and after this slide, I think I'll close it up. But be aware, there's a recent study by Oxford University. In the next 10 years, up to 40% of your chores at home will be automated, right? Whether by a robot, by a Rosie, or maybe by a bunch of different devices that are all working to where, together to make it seamless. Cool. All right. That was basically me, the OACH approach, and just kind of talks about what we do with technology. One of the things I wanted to share is if you guys enjoyed this discussion, there's a sign-up sheet. And reason being is that we're grant funded. We don't use any of your information or anything else. We just report on the individual and the zip code, and then it's always good with the age, but either rate, it just shows, because we're funded by the city, because the city realizes that, this conversations need to occur. So if you like what I have to say, feel free to put it down. If you want, if you're interested, put a star or whatever. I can send you information regarding AI, which is a nice, easy guide. This is thing with the QR code. This connects to our scams and fraud resources. Very awesome. Talks about, has a quiz, it has classes, it really, and it's all virtual and everything else, which is really impressive. And then this little thing too is a little QR code for feedback. You guys like it? You're like, hey, yeah, that guy Darryl, he knows nothing. But feel free to put that, or you're like, hey, I like that, or I'd like a little bit more. Cool. On that note, any questions? Oh, and by the way, I am not AI.
Flesh and bone, right? And thank you. Very informative. There's these barcodes are on the table, and there's out on the table in the hallway information. How many of you know how to do the barcodes with your phone? All right, you're progressing. You're progressing. Yeah, so thank you again for being with us.
Absolutely.
And Darryl will be here over lunch, I think.
I won't eat, I'm fasting today.
So, let me pray, and we'll join together around the tables. Father, thank you for just the opportunity to stimulate our understanding of the things that are bombarding us, and give us your wisdom and direction to know what's true, as Ron has brought so clearly. And we're thankful for the opportunity that we have to hear about new things, and we're thankful for the new things that are beneficial. Help us to sort out when they're not beneficial, and where we need to be cautious. Thank you for our time together around these tables. We ask your blessing on the food. Thank you for those who prepared it, those who have served it, and thank you for the fellowship that we enjoy. And go before us today, in Jesus' name.